Hello and welcome back to On the Break. I'm here alongside Nico and Mike. First off, as always, how you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
Ballin'. We're doing good.
Pretty good, sitting on top of the NFC least. Feeling really good.
God, that is nothing to brag about. We're just going to get straight into that. But the Eagles
Well,
took
there's
down
something
the
to
New
brag
York
about.
Football Giants, man. They did it. Wow. Good job. I'm really proud of you guys, Philly. You beat them by one. You beat one of the worst teams in football. Good job. Philly was able to win this game. If Evan Ingram doesn't drop a pass, then the Giants do win this game. But, a lot of Giants fans are very traumatized at Evan Ingram and very angry at Evan Ingram right now. But Philly, Carson Wentz looked okay, I guess. That game was just some of the worst football I've ever seen in my life. I'll be honest with you. But, we have an Eagles fan right here who watched probably every single second, every single snap, looked at every single detail. Michael Trinidad. What did you think about this game for your Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, unfortunately, it was an extremely ugly win. Sometimes there were points in the game where I wanted to shut off the TV, I'm going to be honest with you, because I just didn't want to endure watching the Giants and Eagles struggle mightily to put up points against each other. Pretty upsetting. The Eagles defense, their secondary just still looks susceptible as ever, unfortunately. But after the game, I went to the legal offices and I said, my new legal father is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a clutch QB. At first, obviously he went back to his mechanical issues and stuff. He held on the ball too long sometimes. He threw a really awful interception right before the half, and I sat there looking at the TV wondering why he threw that in the first place. Plays too much hero ball when he's not supposed to, but when it came down to the game on the line, that's when Carson Wentz is best at. Literally almost came back against the Steelers and nearly beat the Ravens coming back in the fourth quarter. Obviously, going forward, this is not how the Eagles should play. They're still not a good team at all. Don't think so. As the record shows, 2-4-1. Not a great football team, but moving forward, Carson Wentz is the reason why we're still in playoff contention. NFC East-wise, do I think if we're going to get in the wild card and get blown the hell out by another team? Yes, most definitely we will. We're not going to come back and win, but it's promising, I guess. Very ugly football, like I said, but what else can I say this year? This year's been so unpredictable, so I don't know what else to say, Makuch. All I could say is two words: Carson Wentz. That's all I can say for now.
Yeah, Nico, what you got? This is bad.
I agree with him. Carson Wentz, he's really the reason why this team is where they are.
Yeah.
They've won 2 games, basically because of him. They have a lot of injuries, and they've gotten very lucky with an Evan Ingram drop. But, it's the NFC least. The Cowboys don't look too good. And I think this division's probably maybe a 7-8 win division. So you win 7-8 games, you probably get a home playoff game. Besides
Generous.
That, they won the game, so you can't even – they won.
That's really all you can say about this game. They won. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't fun to watch. They won. But another team that won, the Detroit Lions won a game. They beat the Atlanta Falcons. If anybody who has not watched the game, I want you to take a wild guess as to what happened in this game. The Falcons blew a lead.
Todd Gurley decided that he forgot that he had a lead, I guess, and decided to score a touchdown when the Lions had no timeouts. And
if any Giants fan is watching, Ahmad Bradshaw did that in the Super Bowl and didn't bite them in the butt, but of course, this is Atlanta. Bit them in the butt. What'd you guys make of it?
Well, I didn't know that, like Nico said, I think Todd Gurley forgot that he had a lead, and the Falcons literally they consistently find new ways to lose, such as scoring a touchdown in the fourth quarter that would make them lose in the end. But I'm going to say this: Matthew Stafford over the past decade has been the most underrated quarterback I've seen. To have the willpower to bring this team back in the game and beat the Falcons. Obviously the Falcons are impressive. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL at the moment because of just how prone they are to literally choke every lead they have. And I'm going to be honest, half of it is because of Matt Stafford, and half of the reason why the Detroit Lions won is because the Falcons find new ways to lose. And they're probably the most idiotic team right now in the NFL because I don't know how. Have you guys ever heard of a team scoring a touchdown like that's the reason why they lost. That's just so sad.
And they
That's
tried
just so
not
depressing.
to.
Like, exactly. And yeah, what else you have to say about this Nico McCooch? Like, I don't know what else to say. Matthew Stafford is.
They should have just kneed it.
The Falcons have had an issue all year, and right now you can look at the Falcons and literally say to yourself, they're probably a 4-win team if they just weren't like just stupid with 2 minutes left in the game. But
They could be in the division lead right now.
you're probably right, and you know what? They're not. They're 1-6 now. 1-6, and they deserve to be where they are because of just poor coaching at the end of games.
Well, they've
Not
blown
much else to
3
say.
games with a above like 99.5 win probability. They would be a 4-win team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a 5-win team.
They gave the Cowboys one of their lone wins.
Yeah, one of the few wins. This would be a terrible, even worse division.
I'll say this. Yeah, I'll say this about the Falcons too. It's so sad that like with the amount of firepower and potential they have on their offensive side, Julio, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage rising. You got Todd Gurley. I mean, this week he kind of choked up the lead, and you got
looking nice, though.
you got Matt Ryan too. Like this is an offense that can literally blow out any defense in the NFL. I don't know if you guys can disagree with that, but it's just the fact with – and everybody thought Dan Quinn was the problem, just so prone to choking everything that he has. But it's just the team as a whole. This team can't finish games for life. They can't finish a game to save their life. I don't know what else to say. It's sad. Yeah. This is not the Falcons season.
Now they're in Trevor Lawrence talks. Imagine Trevor Lawrence in a Falcons jersey. That would be something.
Please don't.
But I'm sure we're going to continue to bring up Trevor Lawrence as this goes along because there's a team called the New York Jets we have to get to. And you know what? Let's get to the Jets, man. Let's get to the Jets, man. Buffalo Bills 18, Jets 10. What else is new? The Jets still have not won a football game. The Jets are bad. Nico is our Jets fan here, of course. Nico, just take it away. What do you got to say about your inept franchise?
Well, they didn't look too inept on Sunday in the first half until the second half came. Well, so they started, they looked good in the first half. They were up 10-3. Adam Gase decided to give up his play calling to Dowell Loggins. They drew up a couple nice drives. Perrine had a touchdown. Denzel Mims looked pretty good. He had, I believe, 42 yards in the first half. And then just like every Jet game, once a team starts to adjust, the Jets just hit the shambles. They had a grand total of 4 yards in the second half. They had 1 first down because of a really, really dirty hit by Micah Hyde. And Darnold threw 2 picks in the second half, and that was that. I mean, they lost 18-10, did not give up 1 touchdown, gave up six field goals. I mean, when your team does not give up a touchdown, you're expected to win the game. And they did. Yeah.
The team's bad. That's really all you got to say.
They're just bad.
Trevor Lawrence.
You just gotta feel bad for Sam Darnold because he's just never had like really the right coaching. And I've seen potential in him. There were a couple times, and Nico and I were talking literally this weekend, and we were seeing just a couple times that Sammy was throwing, and the kid's got potential. It's just that like inept coaching, aka Adam Gase, literally the worst coach in decades, and just all around too. The Jets defense is awful. Garbage, terrible. Everything else around the Jets is terrible too. So that's just going to equal more failure for this team.
The Bills handed them a win. The Bills literally handed this team a win. Said, "Go and take this game."
The Bills was literally like,
yeah.
The Bills basically like were in that meme like they had this in the first half. Not gonna lie, like they were just laughing about it. Like, all right, let's let them feel like they're gonna win, and then let's just like beat them in the end, just barely. I'll give him one credit. I'll give him one. I'll give credit when it's due. They lost by 1 possession.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll give him credit. I don't know if I've seen that. I don't know if I've seen that at all really this season. The Jets lost by 1 possession, close one. I'll give Adam Gase that. Losing by possession. That's a new highlight for the Jets season.
Yeah, and a lot of 1 possession games here. Now, wait, Mike, I'm going to ask you to repeat what you said about Sam Darnold. You said he hasn't had the right coaching throughout his entire career, right?
In
and
a
if
way,
he gets the right coaching, then he's going to get it.
That's what I think. I think Sammy Darnold has a lot of potential. Put him give him the right coaching and stuff. And I think like this kid's got potential, unlike your favorite Baker Mayfield, who was choked.
It's the same situation. We're gonna get into Browns Bengals, man.
Except this week, I'll give you that. But guess what? We're in the Baker Mayfield cycle. Prove the haters wrong, and then back to ineptness and mediocrity for Baker Mayfield.
Every cycle is meant to be broken. Browns Bengals today. The game did not start out well for Baker Mayfield and the Browns. Let's see. 0 for 5, an interception that caused Odell Beckham to tear his ACL.
As always.
A lot of people said that Odell is not a fit for Baker Mayfield, which I agree with. But this is not how anybody wanted the relationship to be broken up. Hopefully Odell recovers as strong as he can. But the rest of the game, the Cleveland Browns were on absolute fire. It was a classic Cleveland and Bengals dumpster fire of defensive performance.
Joe
Burrow throwing for 400 yards. Baker Mayfield had 5 touchdowns. It was an offensive show. It ended with Baker Mayfield putting on a good drive at the end of the game, and they were able to take it pretty handily. Now, we'll see if Baker Mayfield can break this cycle. It has been true. It's rang very true for Baker Mayfield.
He's consistent. He's consistent for
consistent. He's been playing like Kirk Cousins.
Doing good one game and then sucking for the next 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, he's got a game against the Raiders. Cleveland plays the Raiders next week. We'll see what happens for that game.
To break it.
There's a very good chance to break the cycle. I mean, we'll see what happens. You know, if he's bad against the Raiders, okay. It's true. But if he has another good game against the Raiders and another good game, I mean, he starts stringing some wins together again. The Browns are 5-2. You can't deny that the Browns have been winning. Whether you don't think that they deserve to win those games, they're 5-2. And their 2 losses are against the 2 best defenses in the entire National Football League. So the sky, to me, is the limit. With no Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in the entire NFL. I mean, this Cleveland team can be good, especially if Baker Mayfield plays like he did against Cincinnati. What do you guys think?
I'll let Nico go first.
Okay. I think that, like you said, they're without Chubb still, and they are winning football games. But I do think that once Chubb gets back, they're going to push more towards a run-heavy offense. But in terms of this week, Kevin Stefanski's done a really good job with this team. He's won the games he's had to win. He won this game this week. The defense obviously didn't look very good. Burrow, in terms of the Bengals, Burrow had a really good game. All 3 of his receivers were really good. Higgins, Higgins, AJ Green, and Tyler Boyd. AJ Green had one of his best performances all season. Yep. Targets were all over the place, and they were without Joe Mixon. Bernard was playing, but it was just an offensive game. A lot of touchdowns, just a typical 2020 NFL game. No defense, high octane offense game. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, Mike, what do you got?
I mean, I definitely agree. Once Nick Chubb comes back, they're going to go back to that 2-headed monster they have in the backfield, a.k.a. Chubb and Hunt. They still have given Kareem Hunt a good amount of touches. They gave him 18 carries last game, but I'll give credit when it's due. Baker Mayfield rebounded from an awful first drive and tossed 5 touchdowns. And I feel bad for Joe Burrow because he tossed for over 400 yards, and every one of his 3 receivers had over 70 yards. AJ Green had his best season performance on Sunday, and it was just a great offensive shootout. Like Nico said, 2020 season, there's literally been absolutely no defense to be found in any of these games. Big offensive shootouts, and it's just been fun to watch this season. And kudos to the Browns for taking down the Bengals defense, who has been prone to getting bombed on by any quarterback. I'm going to be honest with you. So, I expect Baker Mayfield to drop 5 touchdowns or almost 300 yards on this Bengals defense. And I think they should have given Kareem Hunt a few more carries. I think if they gave Kareem Hunt the ball a little bit more, I think they would have had a bigger lead than they did and didn't have to come back. But games have been shown that when you give Baker Mayfield the whole game plan, he's going to choke. This time he didn't, but that's why they have people like Chubb and Hunt in the backfield, because their offense is going to be heavily reliant on these 2 to carry them on their way to victory. That's what trends have been shown to see. Look what they did against the Cowboys. Give it to Chubb and Hunt, 300 rushing yards. They absolutely murdered them. Baker Mayfield tossed for under 200 yards that game. What else can you say? The more you keep Baker Mayfield out of the game plan, the more you're going to win.
I mean, that's just kind of football in the NFL at this point. You run the ball a lot and do play action. That's what the Browns have been doing. They're 5-2 for it. Now, I think we're going to come back to the whole Browns situation given the Raiders game next week and see what happens. We're going to get into Mike's favorite portion of the show. The Dallas Cowboys lost. We talked about no defense, but Washington football team, yes, it's still weird to say that, only gave up 3 points to the Dallas Cowboys, the absolute worst team in the NFL. Mike is pouring out something. Is that tears, Mike? Is that tears? Is that Dallas Cowboys tears?
I'm drinking in my precious Eagles cup. I have a whole cup of Cowboys tears. Give me a sec. I just got to drink.
Yeah, you just got to let it go. I'll keep talking while you do that. Let it go.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, how about them Cowboys? 3 points. Now, I will say, John Bostic should be banned from the NFL. That was an absolute dirty hit, and Andy, that was just poor. Poor from his teammates for not being able to back him up. I want to get into that part, too.
Agree.
I mean, they should have backed him up. John Bostic should have been knocked out, and Ben DiNucci never should have been.
If that was Dak, they would have immediately.
100%.
Yeah.
That was just not it.
I'll go first. So, as you know, the Cowboys at the beginning of the season always have expectations of, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. We them boys. Woohoo. We got it. NFC East. We're going 14-2 with this offense. I don't know what to say. This, obviously, that was an awful hit on Andy Dalton. I hope he recovers very soon. It's very alarming to see that the Cowboys offense really didn't do much to show concern about that hit. That was an awful hit by John Bostic. Glad he got thrown out immediately. Should be suspended, should get fined at least, at minimum, for that hit. Awful hit. But I'll say this about the Cowboys, the state of the Cowboys right now. They literally have no locker room. They literally have – last week, you had reports coming out that people were talking trash about Mike Nolan and Mike McCarthy. That's not how you want to run a team. It's so sad to see with all that potential, and obviously losing Dak Prescott, who knows the offense and the system very well, it is a huge detriment to that offense. But you guys got to rally together. Zeke Elliott is surprisingly regressing. At the beginning of the season, I said that he might be the best running back in football. Right now, I want to eat my words and take that back. He has had a fumbling problem this season. Look at his stats from Sunday. He's the one. When you lose Dak Prescott, who do you think of immediately that should carry the team? Go, Zeke Elliott. Easy. Beat Zeke. 3.8 yards per carry, 45 yards on 12 touches. What? They literally took him off the field for a couple. He lost carries to Tony Pollard. That's embarrassing. Somebody who has a $50 million guaranteed contract, losing carries, almost half of his carries to Tony Pollard. That is embarrassing. Zeke really needs to check himself, because if he says he's the leader that he is not showing it right now. He is not carrying this offense at all. And I know they're banged up on the O-line, but he needs to do better. And also, some of those that Andy Dalton interception, if you guys want to take a look at it, and guys who are watching this video, that interception was entirely on Zeke. He dropped that pass. Zeke has not looked impressive at all this season. And I feel bad for, like, Amari Cooper and everybody else. Of course, he had a decent game, but this offense has no willpower. They have no willpower to be better or just improve. And it all goes back to coaching. Mike McCarthy is not handling this locker room. He lost his locker room within the span. It's not even halfway. It's almost halfway through the season. It's a few weeks ago that he lost his locker room. Like, how inept do you have to be? Like, Mike McCarthy is almost as low right now as Adam Gase, and that's very hard to say. Adam Gase is like all the way 6 feet, 60,000 feet to the journey to the center of the earth deep. Bad with his locker room. Mike McCarthy is getting there, and that's very sad for saying that someone that just got picked up by Jerry Jones. And it says something too, because I've been watching a lot of First Take and seeing what they've been saying about this Cowboys locker room. Jerry Jones picks the people that will take charge and that he can get the credit for. If the Cowboys do well, he wants to take all the credit. Jerry Jones has a huge ego, and he needs to realize that he needs to pick the people that are right for this team, you know? And what else can you say about the Cowboys defense? You can't trust them. They're literally god-awful, garbage, dumpster juice fire. Like the juice that I find at the end of a trash can after a garbage day. Horrible.
Disgusting.
And just some more tears to drink as you guys talk.
Yeah, the Cowboys they're not very good. going into the season, I was pretty confident they'd probably be a like 9, 10. I thought they'd go like 10-6. I thought them and the Eagles would be around the 10-6 range. I mean, obviously for both teams, it's looking like 7 wins can win this division. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Mike McCarthy has been not too good. He lost his locker room.
Awful.
And I understand you lost Dak, but Andy Dalton's a capable NFL quarterback. We've seen it time and time again. And again, with the Ezekiel Elliott problem, he had 12 touches the entire game. 10 of those touches came in the first half. 10 of them. And his first half stats were, I believe it was like 10 rushes for 40 yards. So at first he was about 4 yards a carry. At that point in the game, you got to keep feeding him. You got to keep getting him he's got to have at least 15, 20 touches a game.
Yeah, I mean he's the workhorse back.
He is, and you're paying him all this money, and I understand the offensive line is hurt, but he needs to see the ball. The defense is absolutely awful. The coordinator should be fired. And again, like when you lose your locker room within 7 weeks of a season, that's pretty bad. And they're at, McCarthy's gotten to this level where, as bad as the Jets were, there hasn't been that many locker room issues coming out. There's major locker room issues coming out of this team. And they either get it together or they're just it's going to be like a 4-win season, another 2015 year. And that's what it's looking like right now. It's really not much else to say.
I'll say one more thing, too. What do you say about Andy Dalton? He's a capable quarterback. Obviously, you're playing from behind. At half, I think, if I'm not wrong, it was 3-22. Awful deficit to come back from. But at the same time, Zeke is your workhorse running back. You got to give him at minimum 20 touches a game. That's just ridiculous to give him 12. Like, that's not going to translate to any success for this offense, especially when you're playing with Dalton, who's getting used to the offense now. You know what I'm saying? But it all goes back to coaching. So,
yeah, and another thing, Washington, you're seeing this with Washington. Ron Rivera is bringing that locker room together. I know they're 2-5, and I know that they've beaten the Eagles and the Cowboys, but Ron Rivera is bringing them together.
Washington has a bright future.
The Cowboys are a team that is descending. The Redskins are a team that is ascending. They're moving up.
Football team.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's like San Diego. It's like trying to get used to Las Vegas. But Ron Rivera actually finished his cancer treatment the other day.
Yes, good
Congratulations.
For him.
Congrats to see that. But he's a great coach. I really do love Ron Rivera.
Great leader.
Me too.
Great leader.
Fantastic leader. The Cowboys, to me, lost their leader. It wasn't Mike McCarthy. It's Dak Prescott, and he hasn't been there. He hasn't been there on the field for his team, and they're just not going. I don't even know if they're going to win 4 games this season. It's going to be bad. But anyway, 2 teams that are really good, unlike this matchup, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans. My reaction was that Stephen Gostkowski will be unemployed, but I doubt it. But he might have to be at the end of this season. Stephen Gostkowski has blown 2 games, has almost blown 2 games for this team. And he could have sent this team to overtime, a place that they've been before. So what did you guys think about this game really quickly?
I'll say one thing, though. I'm going to eat my words because I did take the Titans to win, and I said that Derrick Henry would run all over this defense, and God, was I wrong. Derrick Henry was held to 75 yards on Sunday against a very elite Steelers front 7. And I've been wrong too because obviously the Steelers secondary is very vulnerable to big plays, as you saw. A.J. Brown, the 73-yard touchdown. Thank God he was on my fantasy team. But one thing I'll say, though, is that the reason why the Steelers are winning these games is because their defense is dominant, especially their front. Their front 7 has been absolutely killing everybody they set their eyes on. And I was wrong. I said the Steelers defense could be susceptible. As I was saying, I looked at a few weeks. They've given up a lot of points. But it's been mostly because of their secondary. Their front 7 has been holding everybody in check. And this defense is very elite. I was wrong about my prediction. And Tannehill is still not an MVP candidate for me. But Gostkowski, better watch yourself because everybody, I think you have a death wish when you come back to Nashville. So.
Yeah, I think that this was a game that I think that we could see again in a playoff scenario.
Yeah.
It wound up being the Steelers were up big time. I think they were up 24-7 at one point.
Yeah.
And again, you saw the Titans, and to their credit, and especially to Tannehill's credit, he gave his team the opportunity to win that game, brought them down the field with the help of Derrick Henry, obviously, even though Henry wasn't as Henry dominant. But, like Tannehill brought his team down the field, brought them back in the game, and they played well when they were down, and that is a big thing for especially for a team that wants to win a Super Bowl. And with Gostkowski, I mean, I don't think they're going to get rid of him. Him and Mike Vrabel have a pretty decent relationship, both being from New England. But again, you got to make that kick. You're a veteran. You've been in bigger situations before. I think that basically. But who knows? Maybe they go to overtime. Maybe they don't win. But he missed a kick. They lost the game. One team's 5-1. One team's 6-0. Two of the best teams in the NFL, though.
Yeah, I do admire that Ryan Tannehill brought it back because love the gameplay coming out of half. They took advantage of that Steelers secondary, and kudos to Ryan Tannehill and that offense and Mike Vrabel for acknowledging that and nearly winning this game. But,
yeah, I will say shout out to this trend. When Derrick Henry has 100 yards in a game, the Titans have never lost a game. They're 16-0 with that. And he had 76 yards today. They didn't win the game. So you got to pound the ball. This is what I've been saying. Tennessee can't pound the ball to Derrick Henry every single game. It's not going to work in the playoffs for 4 times when you got to win if you're playing a wild card game. But we'll see what the Tennessee Titans do. I like Pittsburgh better. I like Baltimore better. And I like Kansas City better. But we will see what happens there. We're going to spend the rest of our time, the last game we're going to get into, Seahawks and Cardinals, the overtime thriller, Kyler Murray versus Russell Wilson. This was the best game of the year, most likely to me. It was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
So far, yep.
Tyler Lockett had a game, especially if you're a fantasy football guy. He had, I believe, it was 50 points or almost 50 points. I mean, I had him, and I played against him. It was a weird feeling, but I won both of those games. Don't you worry. I had Devontae Adams against Tyler Lockett. But, I mean, Kyler Murray, he's real, and he's here. Boomer Sooner, of course. But he looks like one of the best. He's the best young quarterback in the NFL, really. He's up there. I mean, the youngest quarterback, he's just so good. He can do everything. He can run around and then make the play. He's just so shifty. He runs like Barry Sanders sometimes. It reminds you of him. And then obviously you have DeAndre Hopkins, who is the best receiver, the most talented receiver in the entire National Football League to me. So what did you guys think about this game? It was a ton of fun to watch, and I'm sure you guys can't wait to get into it.
Yeah. I think that, well, first of all, before I start this, I want to say that run by DK Metcalf to chase down that basically that pick six by Budda Baker, that was insane.
The definition of hustle.
Freak athlete.
That was insane by DK Metcalf. And Budda Baker's a beast, by the way. But, yeah, this game, and the one big thing I take away from this game is, Russell Wilson made some pretty timely interceptions, and it was very un-Russell Wilson-like, But overall, I mean, you saw this game, got Kyler Murray. He's, smiling before throwing a touchdown. Hopkins is Hopkins. Lockett goes for 3 touchdowns and 200 yards. The one guy who actually, I just brought him up, DK Metcalf was held in check. I believe he had, 20 yards, a couple catches.
Not a big day. There was a touchdown that he had that got called back because of a blatant holding call, but, I mean, he did not have the best game besides that play.
But this NFC West looks like, oh, my goodness, you got the Rams 5-2, Seattle's 5-2, Cards are 5-2, and Niners are 4-3. This was just a really, really good division game. And think about it, we got one more of these two teams. And I think the next game's going to go down to the wire. Seattle was missing Jamal Adams, which is definitely going to help them next time.
Yeah.
But overall, just like that Bengal Brown game, a better version of an offensive show.
Well, I'm just going to go as far as to say that was probably the best game I've seen all season so far. So much fun to watch. Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray aired it the hell out. Both, I think, had over 400 total yards. Definitely not Russell Wilson's best game. Very surprised. Tossed 2-3 picks, if I'm not wrong. Dude, costly pick in overtime to Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons hasn't had a great season, but he came up clutch for the Arizona defense. And Budda Baker, my God, this top 3 safeties this season, excellent. He's been phenomenal. And I've been really high on him, and he's been impressive so far. So good for him. And Metcalf is a freak athlete. especially on that interception return. I can't believe he caught up and just stopped that pick six. That could have cost the game right there. But, yeah, Kyler Murray, he looks legit. He is definitely one of the brightest stars on that team and in the NFL right now. He is legit. Very happy to see him air it out when people have said that, like, his accuracy could have been an issue, but he was pretty accurate on Sunday. I saw him air it out to Hopkins. Great touch on the ball too. Great pocket awareness. Also, that smile to Hopkins was funny. Because why in the world would you only put one-on-one with DeAndre Hopkins when he's going to absolutely moss the heck out of you? And Jamal Adams was definitely detriment to the Seahawks defense because, as we know, this Seahawks defense literally gives up play after play. They can be steamrolled easily. But I'll say one thing, though. Russell Wilson is still my MVP pick, but he wasn't unstoppable on Sunday. I thought he would. That's why I picked the Seahawks to win. A very tight game, though. I picked them to win. But Russell Wilson was, in a way, they baited him a lot. They baited him into a lot of bad throws, timely, costly interceptions, especially in overtime. I can't believe that was picked off. Great play by the defense. And Metcalf was held in check for most of the game. And it shows that this Seahawks team is stoppable if you game plan right. If you don't, they're literally going to bomb all over you because Russell Wilson's so capable of turning the tides that easily. But all in all, fun game to watch. Arizona is a dark horse contender in the playoffs. And just don't sleep on Arizona. Arizona's legit this year.
Never sleep on Arizona for
and they
sure.
They have two legitimate running backs in Kenyon Drake who's hurt, and Edmonds.
Speaking of running, Russell Wilson was the leading rusher. The Seahawks could not get anything left on the ground, really. But I will say this is all the time that we have today. Mike and Nico, thank you so much for coming on the show. Hopefully it was a good one. But this is On the Break. I'm John. Nico's next to me. Mike should be under me. We are on the break. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. We will see you later.